Ready, here we go. So, in this short clip video, I'm going to talk about the difference between high school level, college, and then professional level sports. I'll even go back to Little League as a baseball player. So, when you start out playing any sports, normally you'll start out with what they call SANDLOT. SANDLOT is unorganized. You have rules, but they are very, very flexible. And the players are usually the umpires and the officials. So that's your SANDLOT sports. Now, SANDLOT is a great place to develop your raw skills. Today, kids don't play a lot of SANDLOT sports or blacktop basketball. I don't even know if they race each other anymore. Like we used to race, see who was the fastest. It might happen on playgrounds, but just at home, not sure if they still do that. Because lots of kids today, and that's no knock on what they do, they like to be indoors, they like to play games. They are more inclined to deal with things for social media and technology. So instead of playing football outdoors, tackle football, they're more likely to be playing on a game against each other, which we did that too, but at the time we were playing games like Double Dragon and Super Mario Brothers, things like that. So you'll have guys that are usually, around the same level playing each other in SANDLOT. There's always going to be somebody that's really good and known to be good. It could be football, baseball, basketball, but everybody was more of a hybrid athlete. So you still had to depend on the things that transfer to each sport, which would be your speed and your strength and your agility, quickness. Those are raw skills that you will learn in SANDLOT. All right. So you're going to separate SANDLOT. You're going to go to middle school. You'll start getting your first introduction into organized sports. Okay. Now you have real coaches. You have uniforms. You have a set schedule. You have set schedule for practices. And then you'll have an off season. These are your middle school sports. The off season, mainly you'll just lift weights. They will give you some instruction and kind of let you go on your own for one period. That's what happens in middle school. Now, I'm talking about football. Track, I don't recall middle school track. Yeah, I did that. We would practice, I believe, during one of the periods of school or right after school, you would practice for your track and your basketball. It wasn't long. These weren't lengthy practices. We're going to go maybe an hour. Maybe an hour. So, okay, once again, you're going to start separating the guys who have a little bit more skilled in the organized way. Organized is different than SANDLOT, once again, because you do have your real officials and you do have set schedule and uniform. So things have to be done in a formal manner. All right. So once you get from there, you're going to go into high school. This is where the intensity picks up a little bit. And at that time, your goal is to be on the varsity team, which is the team that actually represents your high school. That's the goal. And you want to be a starter and get you what they call a letter. You want to be a starter when you get to high school, but you go through freshmen. Usually the freshmen play together, and every once in a while, every class is going to have a couple guys that can go up and play what you call junior varsity. Baseball, basketball, football, track, etc. Same thing. So the freshmen, once again, you're learning the fundamentals, learning how to play as a team. learning basic schemes and structures, how the game works, how it's played, how it should be played. That's what you're learning on that level. Okay. Now we're gonna go on to JV. Junior varsity is preparing you to play Friday Night Lights when the popcorn starts popping. That's what junior varsity is gonna prepare you to do. Now the junior varsity guys are usually the standout freshmen, definitely the 10th graders, and some of the 11th graders who weren't quite ready for varsity, or their position was stacked and they had to stay down, and they would come up when someone gets hurt. That's your junior varsity. Okay, so your junior varsity, you start to get a little taste of what it's going to be like on Friday. You'll be playing on Thursday. Okay, all right, now you're going from JV, junior varsity, to you're going to high school. You're already in high school. You're going to the varsity team. Now, the traveling is a little bit better. They may stop at a restaurant during the playoffs, and then you'll get to some of the guys that don't get to travel often. They'll get to go to a restaurant for maybe, their third time, fourth time, or some guys had never even been to restaurants. So things will get better. The lights will be brighter. Sometimes even the local news station will come and interview you. You'll get to see your statistics in the paper, not just the local paper. If you're good enough, it'll go that district area all the way up to the state. So those are your levels in the amateurs, which would extend to college. Now, college is when sports becomes more of a job. If you can get a scholarship, that's great. Does not mean you've made it. You are on track to be a professional. So you're doing very well if you can get any form of a scholarship. But now this is where things really get interesting and they start to shake up for real. All right. So now you're in college, and now you're playing against the guys who were the guy in their area, their district, their district region. You'll have regional guys, and they'll start to stand out and make a name for themselves, and those guys will all meet up in college for what I call a high school all-star game. So college to me was just a high school all-star game. It was the guys who were the best in their region competing with each other, and when you get there and you start to practice together, things will shake out fairly quickly. You're gonna see the difference between the guys who have the speed, the guys who have the power, the guys who have the mentality. You're gonna see it real quick. Some guys that do have the ability to play mentally, they aren't tough enough. Then you have the quintessential guy who's really good in high school but lazy. He is very talented, has the size, prima donna, has